What's going on, guys? Ryan Morgan here, back with the frequently asked questions. One that we always get, I actually see it in the comments sometimes. This is from the people that are like highly skeptical and often think things are too good to be true. They're like, well, if you're automating this whole process, this must be a scam. Like, why don't you just do it for yourself? And so I would say the best way to answer that question is by telling you the story on how we got to where we are today. So to answer that question directly, why we can't just do it all ourselves is we are doing it ourselves. We are actively in the process of buying businesses. But in order to get deals done, you need a few things. You need to have obviously a deal, you need credit, and you need equity, liquidity, assets. All right. So me, Ryan Morgan, the founder of this company, I'm a marketer, right? I didn't work a corporate job. I didn't have a 9 to 5 for years. So I'm not someone that is like perfectly qualified to go through the SBA process to get approved for a loan. My background has been copywriting and sales. So like what I was doing before starting this company is I was running a marketing agency where I would help people start online businesses like e-commerce, Turo, or Airbnb. Before that, I was working on a startup to help people. The goal of it was to bridge the broadband gap to create like solar Wi-Fi towers. I was like working in the Philippines, raising money for these towers while doing freelance copywriting. Needless to say, I don't have the resume personally to go to the SBA and get approved for a loan. So how I got to creating Acquisition Network is I was running my marketing agency and I got hired by a private equity group to sell a 26K course. That course was called the Hansen Club. And the concept of the course was you pay 26K to join that group, and then you bring deals to the private equity group. They claim to have 75 million in dry powder. You bring the deal to them, they close it for you, and then you get 40%. Now, the problem with that is like I said, my job was like to generate the lead and do the sales. So I was talking to the customers, and people were like, Ryan, I don't want to pay 26K for a course that I know I'm not going to finish. And so I kept hearing that conversation again and again. And I was like, man, like I'm not going to get any sales. So like unlike all the other offers that I was running in the past, like the Airbnb, the rental cars, the e-commerce, like that was like easy to sell. Like people clearly wanted it, and there was a team to support them with setting up that business, right? So for example, like with Airbnb arbitrage, you could pay somebody to identify a property, they list it, they manage it, the client or investor gets a percentage of the sale. And so like that was like very easy to sell. It's an easy concept to understand. Now, to go from like a service to selling a do-it-yourself 26K course, it was like a huge shock for me. But most importantly, the market spoke. The market said they didn't want to buy a 26K course where they had to do all the work. So being the entrepreneur that I am, I said, why don't I figure out a way to solve this gap? Because I was speaking to a lot of qualified clients, people that had good resume, had good credit, had and have assets, right? But they don't have the time, they don't have the bandwidth or the capabilities of putting the deal together. So through networking and making literally thousands of calls, I met Chris. Chris was the first guy to join the team. He's done over 150 deals for a large corporation. And he said, hey, Ryan, I've got experience with dealing with brokers, sourcing deals, evaluating businesses. I can help your clients to get these deals done. Put me on salary, give me some equity in the company, and we've got a deal. And I was like, all right, cool. And he was like, I'll do this work for you, but what I need from you is I need you to use your marketing skill to find lenders, and eventually I'm not going to be able to do all this work on my own. You need to help me build a team. Because when I was working at this corporation, there was like dozens of people in place to buy businesses on behalf of the company. And so that's what I did. So through the marketing, I started building the team. So first it started with Chris. Then I met Jim. Jim grew a company from 20 to 200 million. Then I met Junior, closed 6 billion at Goldman Sachs. Then I met Steve. He did 1.2 billion at Coca-Cola. Then I met Khalid, right? He has 12 years experience at EY, closing $25 million clients, right? Then we've got Brian, one of our operating partners, right? He helped grow a company from 0 to 30 plus million, right? The list goes on. There's like so many like qualified people on our team. There's David, who's bought a deal every year for the past decade, right? Like he's bought his own businesses with using his own money. So to summarize and answer the question, we are actively doing it ourselves. And so we're in the process of creating our own private equity group. We want to be able to raise $100 million for ourselves, but that's a lot of work, guys. Like I don't think you realize like how difficult it is to raise $100 million, to raise $10 million, to raise $1 million. It's a lot of work. It's a lot. It's not as easy raising money as it was like before 2008. Like people are a lot tighter with their money. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market with there's so many reasons for people to be uncertain, right? With like making big investments. So our thought process is, why don't we continue to do this service for our clients, show how we're able to close deals for individual investors while actively raising capital for the platform and then raising capital for our PE group, which will allow us to be able to do it on our own. And at that point, the prices are going to be completely different. At that point, my core team isn't going to be helping you individually buy a client. Instead, they're going to be training and supporting and managing a network of operating partners to do the work on behalf of you. We do believe in this service. We believe in the market. We believe in the problem that we're solving. So we don't intend on shutting the service down at any point. So there's no like sales pressure on like, you got to do it now or you'll never get it. So the reality is you want to do it now because the price is going to change, because when we get to the point where we don't need your equity and credit, then like I said, like we're going to be able to charge significantly more. So to answer the question directly, why are we not doing it for ourselves is I can't do it. A lot of people on my team, like the first original guys, they, for whatever reason, like don't necessarily have the credit and the assets. Like some people have like one of my partners has like 6 kids in college, right? So like for that reason, he can't like leverage his credit more to buy a business because he's sending his kids to school. So for that reason, we decided to come together so we could create our own private equity group, raise $10 to $100 million, and then we're going to be able to buy businesses on our own. And so by doing deals for individual clients, we're going to be able to show that traction in the market to justify that raise. And so that actually takes me to like the value of hiring us now, because there's multiple avenues for us to raise money. There's the private equity group where we can just do a traditional PE where we buy businesses using that capital, but there's also raising money in Acquisition Network, the tech company that is currently cash flowing, that has revenue, that has contracts, that has clients, right? And so that's the beauty of the model of hiring us, is you have the team that is all drastically underpaid right now. Like a lot of my guys made 10, 25,000. Khalid, he made 50,000 a month at his corporate job. And you're able to make a one-time payment for our service, and you're able to get all of these people to work on your behalf to get a deal done. And we have a service that's functional and is effective. We have 15 companies under LOI right now, and we're a bootstrap startup. When we get $100 million raised for PE, and we could do deals with you or do deals on our own, and we have so think about it this way: we raise $10 million, we can go buy 2 or 3 $10 million businesses and be bringing in 100 to 200K a month just through the businesses, which is our current cash flow, which is enough to pay the current team that's doing the work. So we go buy a $10 million business to cover our current cash flow. Now we could double the size of our team, right? But then we also can, like I said, raise money in Acquisition Network, the tech company, the consulting business, which will allow us to sell additional products that aren't focused on selling to investors. Instead, we could be consulting business owners. We can be consulting consultants. So that we're going to be able to produce significantly more cash flow and revenue, which feeds into the system to hire more qualified people to do the work for you, right? Right now, this whole system is running on about $100,000 a month in cash flow on a bootstrap startup. So the advantage of hiring us now is when we have leverage here and we have leverage here, then you're going to have a bigger team. You're going to have more people to support you, and you're going to have the ability to get not just one deal done, but multiple deals done over the course of years. And we're going to be in position to give you additional technology and tools to make this easier for you and your family. So I hope this answers your question. A lot of people ask this. Like I said, I saw people like commenting on the ad itself, like, this is BS. They're trying to steal your money. No, we're not. If we were trying to do that, we wouldn't record all our calls and bring everyone together on bi-weekly meetings. So to answer your question, the reason why we created the service is we saw a clear gap in the market. The best businesses are created by solving problems, and that's what we're doing. We saw that 96% of people that try to buy a business never get a deal done. 80% of companies listed for sale never close. 60% of sellers don't have an exit strategy, but there's $90 trillion changing hands over the next 20 years. So this is like a massive gap in the market that nobody is solving at the moment. Like, there's people selling courses. There's investment banking groups that charge $250,000, $500K for similar services that you can't afford to pay. And we created an affordable consulting service to help everyday investors to be able to buy businesses faster without doing the work. And I believe this is the next Amazon. This is the next Facebook. This is the next Apple, because we're in a position to, if we could just take a small slice of that 90 trillion, we're going to be in a very good position. When I say we, I mean my team and all of my clients that decided to subscribe with us. So I hope this answers your question as to why we created the service. We are doing it for ourselves, and we want to do it with you. And so if you have any additional questions, schedule a call with my team, and we'll be happy to walk you through the entire process. The future of doing business is now. Join us today.